So here you go. This is the one I've been waiting for all night.
All right.
We had a Black Panther trailer. A new Black Panther trailer. It was good. I love the way Namor looks. I love his like air skipping ability.
I love how they're setting up Namor as a real power.
Yes.
A real power within the cinematic universe, within that world. Like this being is someone that we cannot afford to have a war with. We cannot go to war with this guy. Like, I like the way they're setting that up a lot. And it's fitting for Namor. It really is. Like, as a character, it's fitting for Namor.
It is. It is very much. What do you think of the design aesthetic? Because I know I like the changes.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
I love that I love that they've gone
South
with
American, indigenous.
That kind of, indigenous, that kind of Aztec, that old indigenous vibe.
Looks great.
That classic vibe, the old Inca. I mean, that's the vibe you get from the civilization, is that ancient Incan kind of, ahead of its time civilization. Yeah. And I love the fact that they're going that direction with it.
So by the way, just so you know, the name, and I'm probably going to mispronounce this, so I'll have to hear it in the movie to pronounce it correctly. The name of the country or group or nation that Namor leads is Talokan. Right. And again, go look at the stuff. It really looks beautiful. Namor is a classic character. This movie looks like it's going to be really good. I think we've now figured out who the new Black Panther is going to be. I'm going to leave that one. I want to see it first. It's not who I would have picked, but I want to see what their logic is.
As far as who the new Black Panther is?
Yep.
I have a couple of theories.
Well, I mean, if you look at the new trailer, it seems fairly obvious to me, at least.
I feel like it's a red herring. Marvel's very good at that. Marvel is very good at.
Okay, yep, because they had the fake stuff from the trailers and
look things. Over here.
Yeah. I like the shots we got of Riri Williams as Ironheart.
For sure, right? For sure.
That looks like a lot of fun.
And again, I'm super excited to see how they actually bring Riri in. Like,
and I was curious about that too. Like, the only thing I can think is, you remember in the post credits, I think it was, when Shuri and T'Challa are setting up the school,
up the embassy. Yeah,
they set up
the school.
Yeah, and I'm like, they must have grabbed Riri from that school. That's the most logical way in my mind.
Or if Shuri is an instructor or some kind of headmaster of that organization, one high tech wunderkind finding another.
Yeah.
And I would actually prefer it, personally. I would prefer it if they would use Shuri in that role.
As Black Panther?
Yeah, well, then to take Shuri and use Shuri's strengths and, continue to play off the fact that Shuri is obviously, like, again, like I used wunderkind, but like, is a literal genius.
Yeah.
Like, and not that Black Panther can't be a genius, of course, but I would rather see them continue to embrace that side of the character, that tech side, that, constantly working to improve like things for people and life, and not necessarily be that person on the front lines that's going into battle.
And yeah, the things that we have not seen from the trailers. We don't know how T'Challa dies. Mm-hmm. We don't know that. We've obviously seen lots of funeral stuff, so we know, okay, they kill off T'Challa. So T'Challa's dying somehow. I gotta imagine it's gonna be in the opening scene of the movie. We don't know where Riri comes from. We don't know what foments the fight between Wakanda and Talokan. But here's
I'll tell you what, my only like kind of moment of pause for this story is that they are pitting the Wakandans against the Tolakan.
I got something for you.
Okay. You do. Okay.
I do. So,
what I read from the trailer, what I got from the trailer is that it looks like
they're fighting each other.
It looks like they're fighting each other, but it also looked like, they were talking about we can't afford a war, which it looks to me like the Wakandans are trying to stop someone else from messing with the Tolakans.
So
because they know there can't be a war.
So here's the thing. Tana Huerta, who plays Namor, they did a thing. This came out 3 days ago in the Hollywood Reporter. Right now, there are crappy outlets out there, right? Joe's Movie Blog Dinglebat, right? And you all know half these weird YouTubers who are like, I got the inside scoop on Indiana Jones 5 and why it's a woke mess. This is THR is not one of those outlets. They are a legit trade outlet. This is what's interesting. Huerta, they say in this article that just came out 3 days ago, has made clear that Namor is not the villain of Wakanda Forever.
Yeah, no.
Right?
But Namor as a character.
Hang on.
Yeah.
The Hollywood Reporter usually doesn't go into like fan style speculation. Right? So then we go down a paragraph from where they go, Huerta says that this. Now, to be clear, the Hollywood Reporter is not saying this is what's happening, or we have the inside scoop, or this is what's gonna happen. But again, it's the Hollywood Reporter and they're engaging in speculation. Here's the next paragraph. There was a run that introduced the conflict between T'Challa and Namor. A third monarch waged war against the two kingdoms. Dr. Doom. As king and villain, Doom, like Namor and T'Challa, is yet another look at what the throne means, and in this interest, when it is truly a symbol of self rather than a nation.
So it would be a good way to backdoor Dr. Doom and Latveria into the world prior to Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Like, to be fair, that would be a good way to backdoor Dr. Doom into this universe.
Yeah. Because you could start him as just a normal dude and then mess his face up at the end.
So that's an interesting take, because the scene that I thought was interesting was when when you see them talking about like what they call him, this is the name that they have for him. The winged serpent. And when they're talking about not wanting the war, there's clearly an interposing scene between the Tolakan forces and the Wakandans, and there's a scene of like somebody emerging from like a cloud of fog or smoke, like an somebody armed with what appears to be an automatic weapon or some kind, which to me doesn't seem like Wakandan at all.
Right.
Like, that does not seem like a Wakandan warrior, and it certainly doesn't seem like a Talokan warrior either. So
why not do this like in the same facet as Civil War was, right? Where they set Bucky up as if he was the bad guy, as if he had killed T'Chaka, right, at the UN and done the bombing. And the whole thing was a mystery trying to get back to Zemo, right? What if it's Dr. Doom who is setting this...
Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom. Right, well, let's give him some credit. I mean, Dr. Victor Von Doom.
Dr. Victor Von Doom, yeah.
He's earned his title.
He has.
What if it is him being like, I want to take both these fools down so that I can get more powerful on the world stage, right? Post-blip. Why would I fight them myself when I can foment a war between the Talokan and Wakanda?
Yeah.
Right? I'm a crazy Eastern European dictator. That sounds like a great idea to me.
There's also like a really small part of me, a tiny part of me, wonders if we may see an appearance from one or more of the Thunderbolts in the larger conflict.
I don't think so, but I think we might get a reference. And the only reason I say that is this.
Like a post-credit, perhaps?
Maybe. I think that's probably a post-credit, and here's why. So Martin Freeman's character, if I recall correctly, and I do, is the son of Thunderbolt Ross.
Yes.
Right? Martin Freeman's character is the son of Thunderbolt Ross. He's Everett K. Ross. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I'm down. I mean, that would make sense. He's in there.
Well, and again, Ross having his own kind of alliance or, relationship with the Wakandans, it would make sense to me that maybe Ross would try and pull in some, like, his own resources to help out the Wakandans. But again, that's me just kind of speculating. I'll be honest, like, I watched this trailer, and normally, again, for me, I don't normally watch anything past the teasers for Marvel movies because I don't want to know too much going in. I love to be surprised.
Right.
Like, so this discussion is already making me think way more about this movie than I wanted to. I'm that type of person.
If it wasn't the Hollywood Reporter, right? If it was not the Hollywood Reporter, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. Speculation. But Hollywood Reporter doesn't speculate. They don't speculate. That's not what they do. Now, again, nowhere in this article are they like, this is what's happening. They're like, but we'd like to point out that there's a whole Black Panther run about this that introduced the conflict between T'Challa and Namor. Yeah. Here's the other thing I have, and this, as I'm going through the IMDb right now.
Well, and if I recall as well, T'Challa and Namor were both part of the Illuminati.
At various points, yes. Here's an interesting one, because I'm looking through the cast list right now. And then I went back and looked at the daggone press release. And I can't find anything. So, are you familiar with Richard Schiff?
The name sounds familiar, but no.
So he was in Man of Steel. He's most known for his role on The West Wing. Right? He was one of the people that was on West Wing all 7 seasons. He was in Man of Steel. Mm-hmm. He's been in a lot of different stuff. He's been around forever. Did you ever see like the Pentagon Wars?
I don't think so.
Oh, you should watch that movie. By the way, Chad, if you haven't watched the Pentagon Wars and you want to see a funny satire of military development, it is amazing. He's in that show, The Good Doctor. Again, most known.
Okay. I just pulled up a reference for Richard Schiff, and yes, I know exactly who you're talking about because again, my wife watched The West Wing a number of times. I kind of watched it by proxy sitting near her.
Yeah,
so I'm familiar with this gentleman.
So here's the thing: he was in the original press release for the cast. He's on the IMDb page for the cast, and he's the only one on the IMDb page that doesn't have a character name. Nothing.
Interesting.
Right? Here's the thing. Even with the trailers, I don't put it past Marvel to surprise us, right? Marvel's very good at that. Like when they showed Professor X in the Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness trailer, I was like, dude, if that is the thing that they're letting go in the trailer, they've got bigger surprises in store for us, right? Because that's what they're putting in the trailer. Something that they know, that Marvel knows, if they would have held that back and he would have come rolling out in that yellow hover chair.
Again, and people still lost their minds in the theater knowing it was coming.
Yeah. Right. And then we got Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic because, of course, right?
Fan casting.
There, and you know what? Good for Marvel. Sometimes I like it when they do silly stuff like that. They managed to mostly, like, there was rumblings about Andrew and Toby and Spider-Man, but nobody knew for sure. Right? When those two popped out. Again, I'll give it to Marvel. They are good at surprising us. Right? So I never worry about speculating because I'm always surprised by Marvel. Always. I never quite put it on the head. But I think the idea of Doctor Doom being backdoored into the MCU through Black Panther and having him be out there as a villain for when Fantastic Four happens, I think is the best thing. I think that's the best way to bring him in. I don't want them to bring him in Fantastic Four.
No, I feel like, that is clear. That is the most cliched way to bring him in. And it is, again, we have seen how it has failed in the past. Like, Doctor Doom is a big enough character in and of themselves that they shouldn't be shoehorned into an origin tale for a first time out movie.
No, definitely not.
I don't think Doctor Doom should be the villain of the Fantastic Four movie to begin with. Like, stick with the Mole Man. Let's go. Let's go, Mole Man.
He should be the villain in like the second one. Yeah, I'm with you there. I could be persuaded on that. I would love to have Doom around before Secret Wars starts.
Oh, I think Doom has to be around before Secret Wars starts.
So we know we're getting Kang Dynasty and then we're getting Marvel Secret Wars. So I think now is the time to bring him in, have him be around during the Fantastic Four stuff and everything else. Let's go. Like, let's do this. Chat wants to know when Michael Sheen will show up in the MCU. Look, they got Robert Redford in the MCU. Everybody's up for grabs. Speaking of which, I guess we could touch on one last Marvel thing because I'd like to know Michael's opinion on this.
Okay.
One of the names hitting the trades as somebody being looked, because obviously William Hurt died, right? So he can no longer play Thunderbolt Ross. And unlike T'Challa, they are going to recast. One of the names being floated out there is Harrison Ford.
I'd be fine with it.
Who's your fan cast? Who would you get? You can't have William Hurt. Yeah, for Thunderbolt Ross. Who is your fan cast? All right, we have to recast it. We know he's an old white dude. Who do you stick in there?
I'm gonna say this, and it's probably I'll probably get laughed off the stream for it.
Here we go.
You know what? Ron Perlman.
Oh, holy smokes! Yeah.
Ron Perlman has this because whenever they've again I think of Thunderbolt Ross from the books, and Thunderbolt was always a larger than life general.
Well,
Perlman has the stature, he has like the screen presence. Like, he's kind of got that, like, he looks like he could have been a meathead, like, general that got promoted.
And you know what else? Do you know who else I like for that? You know why else I like that?
Red Hulk?
Exactly. Because Ron Perlman played Hellboy. Right? And I could totally see him being Red Hulk. Oh, please. Marvel, please listen to me. Please, please, please go with Michael's idea. Ron Perlman as Thunderbolt Ross. Oh my God, that would be great. Red Hulk.
Mostly,
oh, wow.
And partially because I've thought about, I'd like to see Perlman make his way into the Marvel universe in some form or fashion. And I haven't really thought of a great character for him to play.
Yeah.
To do that.
Yeah.
There was a time, years ago where he would have been my ideal Kraven, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's a little old for Kraven now.
I think he's a little old for Kraven now. I believe so, yeah. But that being said, like, I think playing the age of Thunderbolt Ross, I think Perlman could do the job. He's got enough gravitas to be able to pull off the role and stand toe to toe in a room with some of these people. Because Redford, John Hurt,
William Hurt, yeah.
William Hurt, not John Hurt.
John Hurt died. John Hurt died a long time ago.
John Hurt died a long time ago. William Hurt again had enough gravitas to stand like face to face with Chris Evans, and like you kind of felt like, okay, this.
Yeah, he's not afraid of the guy with the super soldier serum or Iron Man or anybody else.
You know? And that's kind of the vibe I think Perlman can give off. Like he can give that same kind of,
fuck you vibe.
I don't give a shit what your powers are. And I've got the might of the U.S. government and military behind me.
And now my own team, and now my own Avengers, which I also think. I also think that in the context of the Thunderbolts and that team with Yelena and now we obviously we're getting the David Harbour's coming into that cast now, as Red Guardian. I actually think that Ron Perlman plays off that cast probably better than William Hurt would have.
Or Harrison Ford.
Yeah. I'm really wrong. Ford's got gravitas, but yeah.
Ford's got gravitas, and Ford does have some comic chops. Don't get me wrong. He can do the comedy side of things that he might have to do in a Thunderbolts movie. And not that it would be like funny, haha, but there'd have to be somebody's got to be the smart ass, and Ross is going to have to deal with those characters, right? Yelena is not going to keep her mouth shut.
Yeah. So the other reason that you ask about this is because William Hurt wasn't that old when he died. No. Harrison Ford's 80, right? He's 80 years old. He's 80 years old. Ron Perlman at least is only 72. Here's our special guest star, Jordan. Which means we're getting close to rap time. Hi, Tiny. Come on. Okay. Let Daddy finish. So anyway, we're pretty close to rap time. But yeah, I can see Perlman as that. It's great. I think that's a good one. He's 72, so you probably still get a few years. Obviously, ideally for your Red Hulk, you would like to have somebody who could play it for a few years.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Who knows? Maybe we're getting Doctor Doom. Maybe we're getting everybody else.
Sorry, you asked me. Who is yours?
Oh, fan casting for Red Hulk.
Fan casting for Thunderbolt Ross.
Jeez. That's actually really hard. I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know. I can't think of anyone better than Ron Perlman.
I have one other person. One other person, and Jeffrey. I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan could also pull it off.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey Dean Morgan could pull it off. Yeah.
Again, I think he's got the swagger.
For sure, and he's only 56, so you could probably get away with that.